United States of America, Ohio, Wright-Patterson Air Base. It is a famous airfield in the homeland of Wright brothers. There is also a well-known museum of the United States Air Force here. In summer of 2011, this largest airfield became a place of radio-controlled scale jet world championship. 250 participants from 50 countries presented 50 models in 2 classes.
Our friends from Russia!
Russia's national team with the 5 best model aircraft crew of the countries participated for the first time. The team arrived in Dayton a few days earlier to have an extra time for additional training flights and adapting to the hot climate. So did some of the teams of other countries. To watch workouts of the competitors is not only interesting but useful in many ways as well. However, it turned out that participation of the Russian modelists that day failed. Our cargo has now arrived and no one knows where it is. The models of the some teams haven't arrived either, so the organizers of the competition cannot set a date of the beginning of the championship yet. It was a very unpleasant surprise. Well thought out strategy of additional training was in jeopardy, deeply puzzled by the fact the Russian team left the airport before others. All the participants of the championship suffered from troubles as well. In the evening of the same day, they got the news of the severe storm over the airfield. Nature didn't spare any models at the airport. Some of them were completely destroyed and could not be recovered. The models of South Africa's team were damaged most of all. Air modelists from the South Africa are outstanding people, qualified engineers and pilots. Our team met them at another championship in South Africa in 2003, in which RUSJET first appeared as a participant. The South Africa's team models were real contenders to win. The storm didn't leave them a chance to win. The fate of the cargo of Russian models still remained an unsolved mystery. Meanwhile, the models restored after the hurricane resumed flying. New participants went on arriving. Only one day was left for the Russian training flights. Eventually, the team idleness and uncertainty started to be treated with a sense of humor. I hope that our models are not drowned. We have to find out. It will be difficult to complete without the aircraft. I want to say hello to my mom. Today's waiting finished only late in the evening. Finally, British cargo with the models arrived at the airfield. Urgently, they had to assemble the models under artificial lights to be ready for the last training day. Training flights are one of the important parts of the championship program. At this stage, sportsmen adapt for local conditions, they observe and analyze rivals' flights. Models of the best world modelers go aloft one after another. Contingencies seem to be a part and parcel of the championship. Next morning, one more surprise of 100% humidity had its effect. An impressive layer of condensate was only a reflex of the problem. During the night, the model sucked with moisture gain unwanted 10 grams, and the condensate jeopardized the reliability of electronics. Probably due to this reason, they came across the electric circuits and engines failure at its first startup. We cannot start the engine. The problem is likely to correspond with the high humidity. As a result, the first training model was ready to take off in the evening. The fight with the electronics and the turbines was not the only stressful situation that day. During a regular workout, Swiss team lost one of the most successful model. Loss of control was most likely due to electronic failure.
Yes, please. We'll probably be out of here in 5-10 minutes. Everything is on top here.
Of course, the accident with the Swiss aircraft increased the motion and tension as the collapse of the model occurred right before the first training flight of Yak. We have to compete with chief pilots whose job is aero modeling, while for us it is a hobby. However, we are determined to win and came to America for victory. Yak-130 RUSJET caused genuine interest of specialists and enjoyed great popularity among all participants and guests of the championship. Long before the championship, experts, enthusiasts and fans watched the creation of this model online. Many people especially came to Dayton to see the magnificent flight of Yak and personally expressed their admiration to its creator and a pilot. According to preliminary reviews made by experts, the model had a real chance to win.
What do you think about this model Yak-130?
I have followed this model Yak-130 in a series of articles in Jet Power magazine for probably 6 months now. And from the earliest article, I was impressed with it before I even saw the full-size airplane because of the quality of the draftsmanship, the 3D technology that was being used in CAD to develop the components, and I read each article in great detail. I've been a scale designer for at least 15 years. I've designed many jets. The Learjet, I'm now currently working on a Gulfstream 4. I've designed the Skyray F4D. I've competed with these airplanes throughout the United States and they've done well. But this is by far and away the most impressive model airplane I have ever seen in my life. And the quality of the design is beyond anything I could ever imagine at a hobby level. It is truly aerospace technology. It has detail like I have never seen in any other model, and it's done intelligently. It's done with a lot of thought, and also the reason that the the MiG-130 was selected fits all of the qualifications that I look for when I select a subject. You want an airplane that has enough internal volume that you can carry engines, radio gear, fuel, and not stuff things together with a lot of difficulty and have to eliminate structure. It has got enough wing area that it will fly very docilely. It has enough tail surface that it's very easily controllable. I just think that it's an excellent subject, and I think that it was executed beyond my wildest dreams. I congratulate you sincerely on probably the finest model that I've ever seen in my life.
For this class of scale models, bench assessment has a significant impact on total score. The quality of documentation and compliance with the prototype of each and every item is subject to fixed judge examination. The model got the highest score in the history of the Championship of International Jet Model Committee, IJMC. Although at the previous championships Vitaly was also a leader according to a static evaluation of the models, Yak-130 provided a steady lead over the strongest competitors. In this championship, a new approach to the creation of models of this class was demonstrated. They claimed a high standard of quality and copy resemblance in scale aero modeling.
TJ Royans. I'm an American. I used to be in the United States Air Force at one time. I fly RC airplanes, and now I'm here covering the World Jet Masters for the AMA magazine, Model Aviation, which is the American governing body for RC. It's great to be here in Dayton, Ohio, the birthplace of aviation. The Yak, I saw your video on YouTube of how you guys put it together, the design that went into it, all the work that went into it was very impressive. And I can say, being here, seeing it with my own eyes, the video doesn't even do it justice. It is an absolutely beautiful model. I can't wait to see it fly. I hope you guys do very well in competition with it.
They had to compete in extreme conditions, in sweltering 40-degree heat and absolute humidity. Equipment did not withstand and just overheated. Electronics broke out. Even the most experienced aero modelers had serious difficulties during the flights. The time of the first flight test of Yak-130. The first official flight at the championship was approaching. They had to perform in the middle of a day, the hottest and difficult period. The first impression after taking off was the lack of engine power for dynamic maneuvers. In fact, there was a common failure of one engine. Vitaly took the risky decision to continue the flight with one engine running. Basically, it is possible to perform aerobatics with thrust of only one engine, but provide more space for figure approach. However, at large distances, visual control of the model deteriorates and the reliability of the radio control reduces. In this case, even a momentary loss of signal may cause loss of the model. Furthermore, insufficient thrust requires high pilot's precision, especially on vertical maneuvers. However, Vitaly masterfully managed to control the model and actually worked in an emergency flight program. The flight was carried out so gracefully that for many viewers, emergency was unnoticed. Reaction of the public and experts estimate exceed all expectations. Model Yak-130 was recognized as the pearl of the championship, which turned to be a sort of audience choice award. After landing, Vitaly confirmed that brief loss of control had happened to be. Was, of course, a unique in its complexity flight, during which between me and Pavel there constantly appeared the question of termination of the performance. However, failed flight could significantly reduce the chances of overall result. In fact, in case of an abnormal situation in the second or third rounds, a victory will be in a serious doubt. Experience and intuition suggested that we break through. But when, apart from engine, even control broke out, at that very moment intuition got a few strong words spoken mentally through. A moment later, control was recovered. Once again, I thought gracefully of the creators of the Yak-130. Indeed, the aircraft can fly on one wing. The further course of our fight in the championship depended on the flight outcome of the second round, provided flawless execution of the flight programs and no failure equipment time. In this flight, Vitaly carried out the program brilliantly, showing aerobatic capabilities of the Yak.
Очень волнительно, и волновался из-за управления, и волновался, как что будет по сигналу.
I was very nervous before this flight, but the flight went normally. Control and engines worked steadily. The result of the second flight is very important. It is an official flight. It is always more difficult to fly in the middle of the day, because the feeling of expectation and general tiredness creates additional tension before start. After all, it is important not only to show the result on the stand, but also in flights. It is also depends on the equipment and the weather as well. In hot weather, the engines work at the limits, and as a consequence, fuel consumption rate increased. Although the turbine could stand hot test, premature fuel use caused shutdown of one engine. Fortunately, it happened just at the time of landing. The second engine had only just enough kerosene to reach the flying line. The enthusiastic reaction of the audience and congratulation of the competitors left no doubt about the fact that the title had already been gained. Soon the victory was officially confirmed. For the rivals, total result became unreachable, and further fight for the world title was worthless. According to the stand results and two flight tours, Vitaly's victory was convincing and undeniable. Here we faced the most extreme weather conditions. During 6 World Championships where I participated, I haven't come across such severe conditions. Even in Israel it wasn't so hard. So let's see what will happen in third round. Just wait and see. participation in the third round didn't look like competition anymore. It turned into showing respect to the rivals and guests of the championship. On the other hand, in view of recent critical situations, the probability of loss of the model remained quite high. In the team there were hot debates about the reasonability of third flight. However, Vitaly behaved like a true winner in the best traditions of IJMC. Another brilliant flight of Yak-130 was performed by Vitaly Robertus. This was a Venice flight.
Но мы именно с таким настроем и приехали сюда, в Америку, побеждать.